Joining me now is Senior Vice President as well as General Manager Brian Cashman of the New York Yankees. And Brian, thanks for taking a few moments to be with us. Why was it so important for the Yankees to get Aaron Judge back in the Bronx? And more importantly, why is he worthy of that C on his chest?
Well, obviously, he's one of this generation's great players. And ultimately, he is been acting as our de facto captain without the title the last 2 years, especially. And so I just think it's more of an acknowledgement that can only come from ownership, and with the comfort level knowing now he's going to be here for the long term, for the rest of his career, that we can obviously bestow the obvious on him. He's Captain Obvious, and so it's a worthy title, and obviously a big gesture on behalf of Hal Steinbrenner, but one I know he's wanted to make, but didn't want to make until he knew he had him in the fold.
And there's nobody that is more deserving of a C than Aaron Judge right now, Brian, because he does everything right on and off the field. And Hal Steinbrenner had said to Aaron a few weeks ago that, I don't consider you a free agent, you're a Yankee. And he did everything to make it happen. How did the Yankees make this happen? Take us through it.
Well, I definitely, I've been here a long time, so I've seen how George Steinbrenner went about his business, and I thought Hal channeled his inner George Steinbrenner, his dad, about how he went about, recruiting to retain Aaron Judge. He made it personal, with the family. He spoke from the heart to Aaron. Obviously, it takes a lot of money to retain a player like this, that there's clearly enough competition in the free agent market because he's one of the game's great players. But ultimately, Hal spoke to him like, I don't consider you anything but a Yankee, and we've got to find every which way to make that happen. And they connected and stayed in touch. And ultimately, I think Aaron let Hal Steinbrenner in enough to land the plane. And it cost a lot of money, but I'm not sure if it cost every penny that maybe he could have extracted out in the free agent market if he chose to pursue other opportunities. So I think he's staying in the place he wants to be, but I think Hal Steinbrenner definitely made it happen by the financial commitment he's making for the 9-year deal, but also connecting with Aaron on a personal level about how valuable and important he is to this franchise, to the family, as well as the franchise, as well as to our fans.
And the fans you mentioned, Brian, what does this say to them about the Yankees' commitment to making sure that they kept Aaron in the Bronx, as well as making sure you guys continue to put a quality product on the field?
I mean, it's just another, exclamation point. As far as I'm concerned, I think on a year in and year out basis, the Steinbrenner family has been so amazing for this city of New York. They've been very fortunate to have a family like this that owns this storied franchise, because their commitment level has been second to none for quite some time, and allows us on a year in and year out basis, despite having a high-end payroll, constantly trying to add to it and compete. And obviously, typically, to improve yourself, in most cases, most choices, it costs you money. And so not only did we retain Aaron Judge, but on top of our already high-end commitments, but we're able to import a few more free agents in Tommy Kahnle and the left-handed starter Rodon, that I think will hopefully impact us in such a positive way with what we already have going. So again, it's Hal Steinbrenner is always putting the money where his mouth is. He's committed to try to compete for a championship on a year in and out basis, and hopefully our fans recognize that.
Yeah, 6 years, $162 million, Brian, for Carlos Rodon. You made it official. What does he add to an already very potent rotation?
Well, I think, we've already got, clearly, you've mentioned that potent rotation. We love that we have Garrett Cole leading the way, and then, what Nestor Cortez did the last year and a half to 2 years, and then, getting Luis Severino back in the fold has been so vitally important. And we lost Jamison Taillon, who provided a lot of really quality innings, and he's gone on through free agency to join the Cubs. But the import, obviously, Rodon to add to a guy we got in the trade deadline last year that we didn't get a chance to see at his best, Frankie Montas. I think we got one of the best rotations in the game if they can all stay healthy. And so we know that, the competitive fire that Rodon brings is going to be something that'll be fun to watch every 5 days. And I think it's nice that Garrett gets a little bit more help too, because he hasn't been a one-man show, but but to get as many guys to push up in that front end, it's going to benefit each other. And the best rotations are the ones that actually can hand the ball off each day to the other starter and say, all right, you top this. And I feel like that type of competitive energy is certainly possible with the crew we have assembled going into the 23 season.
When you think of the New York Yankees, Brian, you think of the Steinbrenner family spending money, and they do so year in and year out to make you guys competitive. Your crosstown rival, the New York Mets, doing the same thing now. They're no longer the team that the underdogs. What is your take about the money that Cohen is spending and really making the Mets a formidable team, and two great teams in New York?
Yeah, I mean, he wants a winner, and obviously there's a lot of different avenues to try to pursue winning, and one of them is obviously free agency, which is going to cost money, and so depending on what lane you want to play in and how much you want to drive in a certain lane, it really doesn't matter how you climb the mountain. The only thing that's going to matter in the end of the day is if you can climb it all the way to the top. So he's trying to put the best team on the field for his fan base, and again, we talked about Hal Steinbrenner putting his money where his mouth is. I think Stevie Cohen's doing the same thing on his end, and as they continue to I can't remember if he's in year 3 now of his ownership or if it's just this is entering year 2, whatever it is, but ultimately he appears to be looking for every which way to address his problems with the opportunities that are in front of him, whether it's the trade market or free agent market. So clearly he's been very aggressive in free agency with the end goal being the best team he can put on the field that can compete for a championship here in New York as well. So we look forward to competing against them and against everybody, and obviously in our world it's the American League first and foremost, but yeah, they're moving and shaking across town.
All right, Brian Cashman, who received and earned an extension himself, the senior vice president and general manager of the New York Yankees. It's a good day to be a Yankee fan. Brian, thanks for your time. Happy holidays.
Thanks so much. Happy holidays.